Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for joining us.
Just as a matter of clarification, folks, in the MediaCom system, should you have the little square box sitting at your house, of course you have found us and it is listed as MediaCom Channel 27. If you do not have the cable box at your house,
the cable goes right to the TV.
If it goes directly to your TV, you'll find us at around, I believe it's 118. But good luck finding us.
Good hunting.
I'm finding that most folks have the box, so I hadn't received too many complaints about it.
Well, you know it's in there somewhere. It's just, you know, the numbers have changed. It's just
Right.
kind of inconvenient to have to look for it.
Right, because we want to make sure that you can see us. I mean, that's the whole purpose here, isn't it? We want people to see us.
Or at least hear us.
Oh, okay, at least hear us. Maybe we should try radio. After this, we probably won't be invited.
I don't think we're welcome on the radio.
I don't think we'll be.
I know you're not welcome on the radio.
When I get finished here today, folks, I guarantee you I won't be invited to Cat Country or 1620 AM.
Well, I think there's a local station you hadn't been welcome at for a while either.
But we'll get to that in a minute, folks. Sad to say, but we're going to have to do another installment of Team Santa Rosa.
We were talking about this earlier, and we really ought to be paying them some kind of stipend for the
Well, they're helping our show.
vast amount of material that comes our way.
Right. Folks, it is a plethora of good shows have come from Team Santa Rosa.
I mean, there's no effort involved. It's,
yeah, they just lay it out there.
Cherry picking. Yeah.
You know, look, I said there just a few moments at the last meeting, you know, and while all the board members choked down their ham sandwich, while me and my friends and the other members of the media were sitting there with nothing in our hands.
Was somebody else from the media actually another media?
Absolutely,
really?
absolutely.
That's
yes,
unusual.
Mr. Lewis Cooper was there. Yeah.
Interesting.
And also the Navarre Press, Yvonne was there.
Okay, very good.
So, and we're going to discuss some of those stories today. You know, folks, goes without saying, we've proven it over and over and over, and I'll take the quick trip down memory lane. Team Santa Rosa in violation of the Sunshine Law for the first 10 years of their existence. A unqualified individual at the head of Team Santa Rosa as the executive director.
Well, and that's opinion.
No, I think it's more than an opinion.
I'm just to differentiate because they were absolutely in violation of the Sunshine Law. That's not
Right.
That's not opinion.
A continuation over and over and over every time Jerry, Deborah, Alan, and the media or a commissioner turns up the heat a little bit, all of a sudden a bunch of jobs are coming.
Yes.
For example, folks, and we discussed it right here on this show, and no other form of media discussed this. Team Santa Rosa was under the microscope. County commissioners were upset with their operation. They put up a PowerPoint presentation that said that there was a potential of 2,600 jobs coming to Santa Rosa County. And they stated that there is an additional 400 jobs that if the commissioners would vote for an additional package of incentives, they felt strongly that they would be able to get that company. Folks, that was in the 1st of December. That was almost a month and a half ago, sitting in the Team Santa Rosa meeting recently. One of them has decided not to pursue Florida. This one has this issue. That one has this issue. And as it always occurs, folks.
The boy who cried, the team who cried wolf.
2003, Operation Bluebird. Operation Bluebird is going to bring 800 high-paying jobs, $85,000 a year plus, according to Don Salter and Team Santa Rosa. You can take it to the bank. We are working for you, people. These jobs are coming. A little research was done on Operation Bluebird, and it turned out 2 foreign nationals with a storefront operation at the Miami airport that the closest they had ever came to an airplane is they had flown in one time.
Yeah, it was a shell company.
They had a nice picture of a plane. Okay, but on and on and on. Channel 3 comes in, oh, there's 800 jobs coming. The construction jobs will be rolling in tomorrow because of the aviation park. Not one job, folks. Another time, 800 jobs. Yeah, they like 800. It's always 800.
That's a substantial.
Yeah, it's always 800. It's going to be 800 above average jobs. You know, who could forget Home Place Furniture? They were going to move into our industrial park, and then they bought property in the Pullum Industrial Park. Some 3.5 years ago, nothing. Over and over and over, and then this latest stuff, you put a little heat on them, they show up to a county commission meeting, and it's 2,600 jobs, 400 we can get if you'll pass additional incentives. The county commissioners said, we want to do that. They called, folks, the Board of County Commissioners have been trying to work with these people. They called a special meeting and voted on one item, an incentive package. And now the commissioners are told, well, it doesn't look like we're going to get that company. So it's over and over and over, folks. I mean, I've got newspaper clippings. I've kept track of it since 2001.
Well, it's a whole scam industry out there because they offer these incentives. There's all this incentive to come in and try to get money for nothing, and then get as much as you can,
and then leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and then skip town. Exactly.
You know, one of the things at a recent county commission meeting, and I've got up and given my speech several times. I think the vast majority of the citizens, within reason, are okay with some incentives for a company to come here. But where we have always made the mistake is we never have a clawback. And let me explain clawback to you. Clawback says, Company ABC, we're glad you're here. And we're happy you're here. And we're going to let you have property for half price. We're going to give you 8 years suspension on any property taxes or any other taxes. We're going to expedite, the process. If you'll put in X amount of dollars in a building, if you will hire X amount of employees, and if their wages is a certain level. But we haven't written a clawback yet that was exercisable. And I will use 84 Lumber as an example. We let them have property for next to nothing.
Yeah.
They used our incentives for about 8 years. They left in the middle of the night. Now, I will say this. The county attorney at that time, Tom Danhauser, made an attempt to exercise the clawback. We were able to get $360,000 out of them, but they still got the property, folks.
Well, it goes back to the nature of the problem. It doesn't matter how they write it. They're going to bring them to court. And if they're going to bring them to court and say, well, we had this kind of job, and we did this, it's going to cost Santa Rosa taxpayers to go to court, and so they're always going to settle out of court and just give it to them because they can't afford it. And they know that these companies know this. Doesn't matter how you write those clauses, they're going to rip us off at some point.
Well, folks, the problem with 84 Lumber is that's a big piece of property. They threw us another $300 and some thousand, and they have title to the property, and they have it for sale today for $2.6 million. Now, who wouldn't take that deal?
Yeah. 8
years they sold lumber, they sold boards, they sold trusses, probably, hopefully made money during that time. They pull up stakes. They only have to come out with another $300,000, and they get to keep the property when it's over with.
Right.
So we have a huge, the insult to injury is the 84 Lumber property is tying up a huge portion of our industrial park, and nobody's moving into it. And if anybody does, they'll have to pay the full price that 84 Lumber agents want for it. And, it's just turned into a mess.
Well, and the thing is, if you've got a legitimate industry that's viable, you don't need all that stuff. You're going to make the money. That's how the system's supposed to work. You're going to make money, and you're going to expand and grow and all that good stuff. And I think we've had a lot of people in there who are not necessarily in a viable industry, and they've been given free land and stuff like that. Some of them are still in there.
I mean, look, honestly, if I was going to redo this thing, I would put up a sign that says free land.
Yeah, well, I'd like some. How do we get some?
Well, free land.
Santa Rosa Week would like some free
Whatever you put on there, when you leave,
yeah.
if you can't pack it up within 24 hours, it becomes ours. You put up a metal building, you put up a parking lot, if you leave, it's ours.
Well, if they keep title of the land, though, then you still got to...
No, I want us to keep title of the land.
Okay, right. Yeah,
you come in, build whatever you want to. If you stay here and make it, God bless you. If you leave in the middle of the night, you leave what's nailed down.
But see, I mean, that kind of Byzantine sort of process outlines the problem that you have when you have the local governments getting that involved in what should be private industry to begin with.
Well, free enterprise should be handling
Once
this.
again, here I am, the liberal Democrat, having to point that out to you. That it becomes a game of playing favorites and picking winners and losers and all that other stuff, and it ultimately just a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Well, the other thing, and look,
economic development.
Let me make this quick little speech too. We've decided we don't want any industry we don't want anything in our community that even has one garbage can full of waste coming off of it. And I think it's ridiculous. Folks, you know it as well as I do, and look, industry...
Well, hold on, except for C&D dumps in East Milton.
Industry in the past made mistakes environmentally. Okay? The military has made mistakes environmentally. I will tell you today, in today's world, industry embraces the environment because it is a selling point for their product or service, just as the military has, where they have environmental officers that are in charge of what goes on there. They make sure that the land is wholesome that they're using.
Well, the military is a little different because they have unlimited tax dollars, basically, to solve, which we're glad they're solving the problem, but it's not cutting into their bottom line.
Well, my point is, because industry's made mistakes in the past, look, folks, your kids have made mistakes in the past. You don't take them outside and execute them and tell them they can't ever come in your house again. Well, every now and then you have to do that, but not often. What I'm saying is, Santa Rosa County needs to be open for business. Okay.
I would argue that's used selectively, though, because again, let's just point out we have at least two dumps in East Milton. That have been allowed to do whatever they want to. That's
a whole nother issue.
That's industry, though, being allowed to do what they want.
It is.
Because we've had some cronies that own them.
And since my very liberal TV partners brought that up, let me just state this for the record, and Deborah has watched me do this on multiple occasions. I, Jerry Cooey, am of the humble opinion that there should be zero for-profit private dump facilities in Santa Rosa County, period, end of story. Now, I'm not very trusting of government, but I am far more trusting of the wonderful people that work at the central landfill that has a gate out on a main road with a camera on it. Right. I am very comfortable knowing that nuclear waste will not be brought in at 1 a.m. in the morning, thrown in a pile, and a truck magically cover it up while nobody's looking.
Covered with brush.
That's right.
That's an inherently government function.
I believe it is. My 2 cents worth, I've expressed it before the planning committee. I've expressed it multiple times before the Board of County Commissioners. Private for-profit dumping, C&D pits, regular garbage pits, or LCD lawn and debris pits should be a function of the government in Santa Rosa County, number one. Number two, we need to seriously look at the tipping fees from the standpoint of, I'm okay with Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa working collectively together. My 2 cents worth is there should never be one tin can from another state brought into the state of Florida to be put in a hole in the ground. Mm-hmm. Nothing from Alabama, nothing from Georgia, nothing from New York City. And folks, I'll tell you right now, there is a person in Santa Rosa County that's trying to bring coal ash to Santa Rosa, to East Milton. Yeah. And you all have already seen what that will do. You watch the communities in Tennessee when the dam broke and covered them, and they had poisonous metals cyanide and ruined the farmland and the whole 9 yards.
And let's just also remind everybody that the aquifer that feeds most of the area, including Gulf Breeze, is right there in this building as well.
Now, we took a little detour there because I want to make it very clear that is not an industry that I would ever consider taking root in Santa Rosa County. What I'm talking about is manufacturing, building of an automobile, building of equipment. I mean, for goodness sakes, the mayor of Pensacola, he woke up recently and he said, you know, we have a port of Pensacola here.
Yeah.
And there is offshore drilling.
Right.
And we need to hang a shingle that says we're here to support your vessel. We're here to furnish supplies to you. We're here to make repairs to your equipment. We're right here. We have rail access. We can get anything you want to. So
he didn't wake up and say that, though. The port staff have been telling him that for quite some time. They finally decided to listen.
Hopefully, and that's a good first step. But what I'm saying here, folks, you know as well as I do, I said all this to say this. I lay awake at night worried about the middle school kids who will never have a job in Santa Rosa County. High school kids that are graduating today, about 1 out of 1,000 of them have a chance of having a good career in the county that they were raised in.
The ones that are related to the current crop.
I would like to see us get to a place that we have to run advertisements in other states asking people to move here because we don't have enough warm bodies to fill the jobs that we have brought here. But industry, hands down, over and over, folks, you can go sling bourbon and cokes down at the bar and restaurant and maybe make $10 an hour. I'm talking about a sustainable living wage. Industry, hands down, over and over and over, is typically at $40,000 and up. Some of those jobs are reaching into the $80,000 and $100,000 a year jobs. Now, there's some risk. But as I stated in the beginning, the mistakes that have been made by industry and governments in the past, that has changed because of the pressure all of us has placed upon these people. There is no company that's going to move in here and leave some of the stuff, for example, the Superfund site in Escambia County with the creosote poison over there. There's no company going to do that. The laws are stronger. The public won't put up with it. The public is watching those operations. Typically,
you still have dumping going on.
You will have some.
I would bring up a certain paper industry. And there's some other companies.
I'm not saying it's all going to go away, but you have to embrace industry because that's where the pay is, that's where the benefits are, and that's what built this country to start out with.
Yeah, I'm not arguing.
And what we do right now, for example, and Commissioner Don Salter was one of them that stopped it. Mercury Outboard Motor Company wanted to have a test facility here. And oh my Lord, they intended on taking an outboard motor once a week down to Blackwater and run it up and run it down. Oh yeah. No, not that kind of industry. But at the same boat launch on Saturday during prime fishing season, there's 100 boats down there.
Well, this is what I'm telling you. Don't. They may use environmentalism as an excuse, but none of these people are environmentalists. I mean, they're allowing the dumps and they're allowing all these other chemical companies that are in paste and so on and so forth. And so this is not about environmentalism. This is about, maybe you didn't offer me enough money to get your incentives in line. I don't know.
I think we're completely backwards. This business of not wanting to embrace industry, and I'll tell you, I can't say it enough. And I have a somewhat of a family connection to the mayor of Pensacola. I'm going to make sure that I contact him and tell him thank you for turning on the light bulb. Okay? There's a lot more things than we can do around here besides building houses and ballparks. All right? And it is the thing that kills me on houses. There's a big profit to be made up front in houses, and we go take that farmland and we cut it under, and we put foundations out there and we build houses.
Farmland that many of them received big chunk of taxpayer dollars.
But we quit farming. We quit farming.
Right after they took the welfare, they quit.
It's bringing a yearly dollar value is coming into account. You get the man's buying tractors and he's buying services and he's buying seed and fertilizer and transportation and all this kind of stuff. And we trade it like that for a one-time quick profit, and then we do away with the next 100 years of a viable product. And we just doing a lot of things backwards here, but let's get back focused here. Team Santa Rosa. I know, folks. Deborah was there. I was there. There was a room full of people there. The Board of County Commissioners made it very clear. We need a qualified individual to run economic development in Santa Rosa County. Number 2, the commissioners need broader representation on the team board. They actually suggested that each commissioner have 2 picks to go on the team board. And number 3, the name's got to be changed. All right, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I even challenged the commissioners one day. I challenged Dave Hawksing. I said, if you don't believe the survey that I've been taking for the last 6 years, go to McDonald's at 8 o'clock in the morning on Highway 90 in Milton, Florida, and there's a couple groups of gentlemen that meet up there and have breakfast. And walk in there and tell them you're in full support of Team Santa Rosa and see if they don't pick you up by the shirt and throw you out in the parking lot. All right? Team Santa Rosa has a horrible, horrible name in Santa Rosa County. And really, I think, Escambia County, but definitely in Santa Rosa County. But that's the 3 things that the commissioners asked for. And Hawksing, the owner of Cat Country and 1620 AM, continues to be deaf to that. I'm going to read you something. This is his quote at a recent county commission meeting. What I find is that county commissioners are willing to say things to me in private, excuse me, that they are not willing to say to me in public. There's a real lack of candor on the part of some of the county commissioners who won't stake out their position publicly. Well, Mr. Hawksing, those commissioners told you exactly what I said 5 times at the same meeting. You took up 27 minutes in a county commissioners meeting asking them to extend the contract, and they would tell you, no, we're not. We need some changes.
Well, they hemmed and hawed a lot. There was no, they hemmed and hawed. They suggested maybe we need a name change.
Right.
They suggested maybe we should put more board member, more county commissioners.
It was put out there.
Yeah, but it wasn't. They weren't demanding anything from them. They were beating around the bush and saying, we don't really, we know we're responsible for all the stuff that came down here. We want you away from us because we're embarrassed.
They beat around the bush more than I would have. Yes. But privately, these commissioners have told him exactly what they want. It has been brought up at Team Santa Rosa meetings.
Yeah.
What the commissioners want.
Right. Well, and we know some of the commissioners want this and some of them do not.
Well, I feel
one of them has
I can count to 3.
No position.
I believe there's 3 of them that want this. And actually, I want to congratulate Dave Hawksing on his comments that he made at the Team Santa Rosa meeting, because I think maybe he's accomplished something single-handedly with one comment that I haven't been able to accomplish in the last 6 years.
What's that?
I think his comments will probably be the final nail that's needed for Team Santa Rosa.
Well, that may be, you can call it whatever you want. It's going to be the same problem down the road, as long as you've got an organization like this that's taking taxpayer dollars, and it doesn't matter how you write the contract. It's going to be going down the toilet.
I think,
and it's going to be used as gifts, handouts and gifts, and then you'll always get corruption associated with that. It does not matter what you call it. Does not matter who runs it. Does not matter what that person's experience is.
I will tell you this. The people that we have there now, employees, paid employees, in the name of that organization, and how the board is structured is not working. Period. End of story.
Yes.
It is time to do something different.
Well, I don't agree. You know my position. Just get rid of the whole thing. I think what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing the jackals starting to circle the vultures on the carcass of Team Santa Rosa. Because once they were required to Sunshine Law, adhere to Sunshine Law,
right.
A lot of what they did went away. But you're seeing the jackals start to circle, and you're seeing people good old boys who want that contract, who want to be in that job. You know what I mean? Who want to collect the free money and do nothing all day? That is currently happening.
It just continues, and folks, and this is just to back up what we said earlier. Every time they're under the microscope, this story in the PNJ with Dave Hawksing insulting all 5 county commissioners. Shortly thereafter, Team Santa Rosa makes a press release. 2 companies that may bring 600 jobs apiece to Santa Rosa County.
Yeah.
1 company that will bring 40 jobs to Gulf Breeze.
Right on schedule.
Right on schedule.
Yeah.
Just as we pointed out before.
It's a scam. It's a scam game.
Whenever there is the microscope and the heat is turned up, all of a sudden there are companies just falling out of the woodwork trying to come here.
You remember the Emperor's New Clothes? I always compare him to that.
And look, you know, the starting point is $413,000. Now Hawksing and gang has asked for another $100,000 on top of that.
Mm-hmm. For the new employee they want.
Right. Then they've asked for another $140,000, or they're going to ask for another $140,000 on top of that to develop a marketing plan.
Yes.
For Santa Rosa and Escambia County combined.
To work together,
yeah. And let me say this. Jim Heiser came from Kentucky. He came down here. He took swift action. He took a shot across the bow against the good old boy club, and he won. And he won my respect for doing that. This is the first time in my life that I would ever consider any kind of partnership with Escambia County.
He'll win my respect when I see the employment figures in Escambia go up considerably, and I see paperwork that specifically links his efforts to that.
Right.
I don't expect that to
I
happen.
agree with you. Well, there you go, folks. Go to the Monday County Commission meeting at 9 a.m. I think it